Good afternoon. I'm Jim Williams. That's Sean Miller. We are here 2 o'clock Eastern Time on the East Coast of the United States. And the news this morning, Sean, on the soccer side, had to do with your team, and that is the early bids didn't seem to reach the amount the Glazers felt warranted selling the team. So I guess we're going to see a new round of bids.
Yeah, I think the Qataris have already said they'll up their bid, so I don't think it's too much of an issue. I just think a lot of this stuff is posturing in the media at this point. They're using the media to fight the war, which obviously they do for political and basically everything. So yeah, it's just kind of you have to kind of read between the lines there a little bit and
yeah, I look at it this way and see. I'll get your take on it. Look, the Glazers have a number in their head. I don't know what that number is. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this works for every time somebody sells a franchise or anything. You have a number in your head, whatever that number is. And you come and you see the numbers that come in and they're close, but they're not there. So negotiating 101 tells you, all right, let's see who really wants it. I don't think any side's going to overpay for it. They're going to pay what they feel is market. And I don't think the Glazers are going to pass just because they didn't get whatever the number is. So I think in the second round, we'll start to see some serious movement one way or the other. The first round, I always look at that and go, okay, fine. That's one of those things where neither side really, were they serious? They were serious enough to make the bid. But was that the best and final, as we all see on HGTV? Is that the best and final offer you're going to make for me? No, it's not the best and final. And until the ink is dry on a contract, there's always an opening. And I look at it that way, that it's step one in a negotiation process that is not going to take too long because, you've got these interested buyers, but it just means they want to see a best and final number. And whatever that best and final number is likely to make the Glazers very happy and even richer than they already are. So one way or the other, it's a no-lose in the case of your team, Manchester United. Does it make it a little longer that they have to wait? Perhaps, yes. But in the end, they're going to get what they want, a good owner who's involved. So that's pretty much the way I see it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, people are kind of getting upset, and I'm like, first, the Glazers really don't want it to drag into quarter two.
No,
all the business stuff, but for Manchester United fans, as long as it's done before the summer window opens, it doesn't really matter because as long as there's if it's over and there's Cutter's gonna do this stuff, then they'll know they'll spend some money. Yeah, exactly. So it's not.
So I don't foresee this as an issue. I just foresee this as this is the first round of this is what I'm willing to spend, and only desperate situations would necessitate that I would take it on the first round. Or if remember when Donald Sterling was stripped of his team?
Yep.
Okay. They had the NBA brought in Andy Zimbalist, who's a sports economist, and Andy set the price of the franchise at 1.7 billion for the Clippers. Ballmer comes in and bids 2 right out of the gate. The NBA says sold. I mean, that took 45 minutes. Not all things go that smoothly, especially when you're selling. I mean, look at Bezos has said he now wants, the Commanders deal, an NFL franchise. That's been a dance that's been going on now for about 4 or 5 months. There's never been a number put up there other than speculation that maybe Snyder wants $7 billion for it. He's not going to get $7 billion for the Commander. but he wants to beat the Denver deal. So he can still do that without getting $7 billion, and Bezos is not going to give it to him. So we'll see. Again, negotiation takes time. Sometimes you want something so bad. Like I said, in the case of Ballmer wanted the basketball team so bad, he wrote a check for $3 billion over asking price.
Well, the other thing is too, like, I mean, the Clippers, nobody, I mean, at the time, no one really cared about the Clippers.
Right.
It's like the biggest team in the world. So
they were the third in their own building.
All this is selling papers and generating clicks and all this stuff. I'm not entirely convinced it isn't actually done, and this is all for
for the benefit of selling newspapers in England.
Yep, exactly.
So, hey, you know what? You might be right. It would not be the first time I was wrong. Let me just put it that way. So there you go. It won't be the last for that matter. So what's on the docket today? Any games that you're interested in, or anything that's going on that you piqued your fancy?
Yeah. There's right now. Well, I mean the excuse me. The crazy thing right now is we're if you're watching the game in I don't know if Bill is here. I'm sure he'd be betting on this. Roma is currently losing to a team, Cremonense, who's never won a game in. Oh, it's 1-1 now in the 78th minute. Roma picked up. Mourinho got a red card. That's who was a red. So it's 1-1. Cremonense never won a game in the history of the Serie A, and Roma.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a little crazy.
How long have they been in that?
I want to say like this is their first.
First year.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. If you're going to tell me that's their 15th year, I would be concerned. But yeah, that's pretty cool that they got their goal, but they still haven't gotten a win, huh?
Yeah, they've gotten some draws and that stuff, but they're still looking for their first win here. So we'll see if they can pull it out.
It's Wednesday basically is the good day for anybody who is interested in watching. That's the day to watch, right? That's when all of the major teams play.
Well, no, today. I mean,
stuff going on today.
Oh yeah, because there's the the FA Cup is today. So starting in about a half hour. There's 4 games. Let me see. What happened there?
Trying to pull up the information.
Yeah, so the games here are Stoke City and Brighton starts in about 5 minutes. Brighton has a really strong lineup out there. Leicester plays Blackburn. Leicester really strong lineup. Fulham plays Leeds at 2:45. Staggered starts today. Let me see Fulham's lineup here. Pretty strong lineup. Both teams went strong. I'm actually a little stunned that Leeds went strong here. And then Manchester City plays Bristol City. It doesn't really matter what Manchester City's lineup is going to be. They should win that pretty easily. But what happened here? Yeah, so it's just some interesting games today. So yeah, they're gonna be pretty good.
And who at this point in time looks like they've got the inside track to win the cup?
And when you look at the odds right now, FA Cup odds: Manchester City plus 140, Manchester United plus 350, Tottenham plus 600, Brighton plus 800. You'd hope they keep City and United away from each other until the final. Never happens. Obviously, they always want those big. They want those other teams.
They want the big names.
Yeah. all that stuff.
So one way or another, at this point in time, from an odd standpoint, not obviously they haven't been finished, the Cup's going to be in Manchester somewhere.
I would look. I mean, I would probably bet my house on one of those two to win it. I think that's pretty
Have it ended at this point in time?
I think so. I think I think it's going to be I'm going to be when the draw comes out here, because let me just pull up the games. Stoke City, Brighton, Leicester, Blackburn, Fulham, Leeds, Bristol, Manchester City, Southampton, Grimsby Town, Burnley, Fleetwood Town, Manchester United, West Ham United, Sheffield United, Tottenham. I would, you expect Tottenham tomorrow, but you expect Manchester United tomorrow, but West Ham could win that. Southampton's a really good cup team. It's probably going to be the Premier League, 8 Premier. I would say you'd probably get 7 of 8 Premier League teams through, maybe. Right. Burnley, Fleetwood, obviously one of those has to come through. 6 of 8, maybe Sheffield United. They're a real big cup team. So, I mean, this tournament has really turned into like a tournament for like the bigger teams. I mean, if you look at the history of the tournament and who's getting to finals, every once in a while you'll get a Watford in there, but they never win. I mean, they got smoked 6-0. So, it's been about the big boys. So, is it the magic of the cup anymore? Yeah, there's some upsets, that come through and stuff, but it's a lot like the NCAA basketball tournament. I mean, you get everybody likes upsets. Excuse me. Yeah. Everybody likes upsets until you get to the Elite Eight, and then he wants to see North Carolina pounding on St. Peter's, and then so you have a big boy team in the final.
Right.
That's just I don't know. I mean, everybody likes Cinderella until after that first round or the second round. I think everybody and it's not just what you like. I mean, the number 1 seed has won the NCAA tournament, I think 13 of the last 17 years.
Right.
It's just the way it is, and
there's a reason why they're number 1 seeds.
Yeah, let me
get some water there, bud.
Let me pull up
a moment.
FA Cup history. I mean, when you look at the FA Cup history here of late, how do they do this? FA Cup finals. Earlier on, you'd have the Wimbledon. So, last year, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester, Chelsea, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, Watford. Watford got through and then got beat 6-0. Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace got through, but United won. Arsenal, Aston Villa got through, Arsenal won. Arsenal, Hull City got through, Arsenal won. You got to go back to 2013 when Wigan beat Manchester City and then got relegated. And it was legitimately one of the biggest upsets ever. But Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City beat Stoke City, Chelsea beat Portsmouth. So
the name teams are there.
Yeah, you had a Portsmouth win in 2008, but once again that they were still. This is before like mega money came into the Premier League. Since mega money's come into the Premier League, you'd say, Watford getting through in 2019, but they got thumped 6-0. It's been Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool. So, is it, the magic of the FA Cup? It used to be 100 years ago, teams like Newcastle would be able to win trophies and stuff. But it's just really, really, it's hard because, you're playing, when you get into these further rounds now, you're playing midweek. So, you're trying to either get promoted if you're in the championship or, even if you're a League One team coming through. Because if you're at this point now and you're in League One, you're probably a decent team, or you're, Southampton's trying not to get relegated and stuff. So it's interesting. Like, but it's, it's usually the teams with the squad depth that comes through and does it. I mean, there's not really too much of a it's not like a magic kind of fixture, magic kind of thing. Like, this Newcastle thing here, obviously Newcastle getting to a Carabao Cup final. Newcastle's, a top 5 team now.
Right.
They're once again richest team in the world, but they're just not deep enough. But this Newcastle Cup run thing isn't going to be. It's going to be something that's going to be. I would think they'd get to Wembley a few more times here in the next half decade here when they start spending some money. So, but for teams like Manchester City, Manchester United, the thing with Manchester United is, right now, I mean, they're targeting all these cups because they haven't had silverware. That was once again, such a huge win yet Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
If they can win the Europa League, the Carabao Cup, the UEFA Super Cup, because the winner of the Europa League and the winner of the Champions League play, or an FA Cup and then a Charity Shield. All of a sudden, you pick up these 3 pieces of silverware going into the next season and finish top 4 and spend all this money with new owners. Man, you're going to be flying. People, the thing with money is, like Newcastle still, they're still, Guimaraes is a good player. They have some good players. They're trying some good players, and they're going to be able to. But, these players want to join teams that are winners, that win trophies. If Arsenal goes and wins the league this year, they're going to have no issue bringing players in. Someone will overpay for the players like Chelsea, and maybe Chelsea will beat people to Arsenal, but they'll still be able to get players in because these players want to join winning teams. I mean, that's basically what it's about.
Well, I mean, that's true, I suppose, in every sport, right? I mean, if you're gonna play, you wanna play in a team that gives you the best possibility of winning a championship or advancing your status in the game.
I think it's interesting. One of the things that I thought was interesting about this guy Casemiro, who who scored the first goal. He's watching the negotiations were going on apparently for a while in the summer, and he watched Manchester United lose the first 2 games. They got the first game I was at. It was excuse me, it was a terrible game. I forget who they played. I think they played Brighton, and they lost 2-1. And results. And then the next day they come out, or the next week, they came out and they got beat 4-0 by Brentford at Brentford. First game. So right there, there's all this high hopes. Everyone says, and Ten Hag was trying to do this stuff. I think he played the players that he played because he was trying to get better players, and he had to show them that it was a kind of a measure. So this guy Casemiro said, listen, called his agent. Like, everyone was like, this deal's off. He says, no, I'll fix this. Just get me. I will fix this. And he gets in. They beat Liverpool. They beat Southampton. They beat Leicester. They beat Arsenal. And then they had the international break. So all of a sudden now it turned around right away. Then they got thumped by Manchester City. And then, you look at since November 6th, they haven't lost. But these guys are like, this guy's won 5 Champions League. The guy's a winner. He knows what's going on here. You can see like what's going on at Manchester United. I mean, the same thing at Newcastle, obviously. I mean, they're building a winning program. They're going to be getting, Newcastle. I know Foxy sometimes gets worried about this stuff in the depth. They'll be able to attract all kinds of players this summer, just for the project there. So, it's really interesting. It's just this is a pretty interesting time of year. Tomorrow you got the 4 FA Cup games and you got 2 Premier League games. So you got Arsenal playing Everton and Liverpool playing Wolves for about the 17th time this year. So, there's a lot of different stuff going on. There's Copa del Rey. I was on last night in DC, and they made the joke. They're like, "Wow, it's another big week of games," and Meg was just like, I feel like it's always a big week of games. And it really is. Like it doesn't.
It is.
When the Premier League stops, there's like a whole, there's all that league, the Mexican league and the MLS games all summer. And then there's the South American games and all this stuff. It never ends. I mean, it's the one sport where there's basically a game every day. I mean, even on Christmas, the leagues in Muslim countries are playing. So, you can find a game basically all the time. And it's just one of these really cool things.
Which, I think a lot of people, it was funny. I was watching MLS this week, and as you know, they opened in some pretty cold circumstances. And I had some people who, were watching with me who were not soccer fans who, wanted to find out about the game and see how it goes. And they were fascinated that the coaches were wearing, parkas to the point where they looked like they were on their way to the North Pole. And the players were out on the pitch with some guys wearing long sleeve, most of them not, but some, and shorts playing. And they couldn't figure out how is it possible, that the temperature outside is 31 degrees and these guys are running around, like they're playing in the summertime. And I try to explain that that's just the way soccer is. Don't try to rationalize it. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like when you see these people running the marathons in November and December, right. It's not real warm. It's just, their body is just producing so much heat. Like the whole time, you're just constantly moving and constantly running. When I coached, I would hate those games, but like the players were out there playing and running around. Like I would always tell them, like when I was at practice, I would always be out. Like if it was cold, I would practice with them. Like I would be out there running around because I don't want to be standing still.
Right, you would stay so freezing.
Start moving around. It's not that bad, and you're moving. Look, it is cold. But when you start running around there, it's not that bad. The interesting thing is, we go to daylight savings in like 2 weeks. So,
right.
It's going to start getting warmer and, these games here in, the MLS, you're going to have to start worrying about being 97 degrees in Kansas City, July.
In Texas, right. Yeah.
And there's just nothing like, you just can't, like, what are you going to do? Like, you just can't, you want to wear like a bikini, like you can't do anything. It's so hot. So, it's pretty interesting.
Well, I think, a lot of what we see now is people are now coming to the game. And I like that. I love answering questions because it shows that people are interested. Back in the day, they didn't care. Now they do. And I think that's really, that's testament to what's going on. And I think that, a lot of it has to do with their kids. Their kids have gotten into soccer. Most of the fathers and mothers who, take their kids to soccer these days never played the game when they were kids. They played softball, they played baseball, they played, football. But now their kids want to play soccer and they're trying to get into the game. And I think that's a great thing. Like I said, I'm here all day to answer questions.
I think that's a huge reason for it. There's so many people playing now. You can't go to a park on Saturday. It's not, and it's all year round.
Right.
It's so much bigger than baseball is. If you talk to any of the youth people, they're doing, baseball's kind of surviving, like travel ball and stuff, but a house ball is kind of in shambles. And I mean, it's just, the two sports that right now that are growing at an astronomical rate are lacrosse. Like I guess that pickleball too, but nobody cares about that. That lacrosse and
pickleball did get a national TV contract with
it's crazy. Like it's just like the fastest growing sport and all this. But lacrosse and soccer, because it's very 11 play. It's very similar. Like a lot of movement. The games are quick. You're not out there. I saw these people complaining on Twitter yesterday about like they're doing the preseason game, and like I don't know, the batter took too long and the pitcher took too long to warm ups. So the umpire's like, it starts with a 1-1 count. Yeah. And all these people were complaining, and they're like, I'm like, listen, man, they're trying to speed the game up. Like you can't. Nobody wants to sit there and watch 4-hour games on Saturdays. Like nobody is going to sit at like going to the game is different, but like nobody is going to sit on Fox at 4:00 and sit from 4:00 to 8:00 to watch a baseball game that is a 9-inning game, and there's 75 pitching changes and all this stuff. Like they have to speed the play up. It's unwatchable.
Well, it's not just unwatchable. It's to me anyway. And I love baseball. Okay,
you play baseball? I played. I coached. I played.
Okay, love it. And you're right about being there. But even if you're there, you at times are wondering what the hell is taking so long. I mean, at the end of the day, I love to watch a 2.5 hour tight, close 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 game.
Yep.
Guys like Scherzer pitching against, Nola, Aaron Nola in Philly. I mean, those guys, you feel the catcher, throw the ball back. In 15 seconds, you're going to get it thrown back to you. These guys do not stand around. They do not wait. They are the throwbacks to the old pitching styles. I mean, like the Bob Gibsons and the Juan Marichals, and those guys who consistently, finish games in 2.5 hours. But yeah, there's a lot. I think the clock is a good idea. I think the bigger bases are a good idea. I think anything that can speed the game up is a good idea.
Yeah. I think when you're watching these games, first of all, when the game changed to like, starters going 5 innings and then relievers throwing 100 miles an hour coming in 6, 7, you got 5 different relievers coming in, or every time the reliever comes in, you go to commercial, you got to warm up, you got to do this, you got to do this. So, I mean, it's just not, it just slows the game down. I mean, there's so many times I've been covering the minor league, the Yankees. Yeah. And you're sitting there and you're like, it's you're 90 minutes through 6 playing. And then somebody will say something because you're never supposed to say anything.
Right. God forbid.
This game's flying. You're like, and you just look at them, you're like, what the hell did you say that for? And then all of a sudden,
slow it down.
Takes 45 minutes. They and then the last 3 innings take the same amount of time as the first 6. Because they're making pitching changes and somebody gets, whatever happened. I mean, it's the minor league, so it's development, but I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I know, and the rules they're putting in, the no shift and all this. I mean, I just think people are getting sick of watching these 4-hour games with guys striking out 300 times and I don't know. It's just.
Well, here's part of it too. All right. Sitting from the television side. The interesting and most important thing about soccer is you get 2 halves without a commercial break at all. Okay. There's no break. So that doesn't break the flow of the game. And so it makes it so that you do get a true 2 hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 40-minute game. All right. It's done. It's finished. Hey, Foxy, how you doing? So it's baseball bets. They're sold in the UK. No, it's funny.
Foxy, my buddy Gripper plays rounders over there, which is kind of like baseball.
Yeah, it's kind of like baseball.
But yeah, no, I mean, I know they try to sell it over there, and it's just such a.
It doesn't translate well.
But there's already cricket. There's already like
like you said.
It's like they have this netball, and like it's just like basketball.
I think netball's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, they have these. They already have these. Like like it's just kind of strange. Mm-hmm. Foxy, what do you think about these games? I don't know if you like any of these. Fulham. I thought Leeds put a pretty strong lineup out. I was going to take Fulham. I thought maybe Leeds was going to back off there a little bit. I haven't seen Manchester City's lineup yet. I hate betting betting those. I don't know if you like Leicester today. I liked Brighton against Stoke. I thought they put a pretty strong lineup out. But yeah. So yeah, but yeah, we look at baseball as more boring than cricket, and cricket is bloody boring 90% of the time. It's interesting, Foxy, because you know what now is taking off for cricket is the T20s, the IPL. Right now is the Pakistani League, the Big Bash in Australia. This T20, and they're going more to the one-day international, the 50 overs, because I think even the people now in England are starting to figure out, listen, man, nobody cares about some cricket matches lasting 5 days. You got to speed it up. This generation of people under 30 do not have the attention span to sit there and watch something for 8 hours or 4-hour baseball game or stuff like that. Football, NFL, figured it out pretty quickly. They did the halftime shows now 12 minutes. I mean, now that like the games move quicker, you can see they do less commercials. The games are, maybe they're dragging, but then the last, 45 minutes, the last quarter goes quickly. If you see this, football has sped up the pace of play a lot. And I think, they get it, football gets it.
Yeah.
The world is a little bit ridiculous with that 15 minutes of stoppage time. But, if the game starts at 10 o'clock in the morning here, I know by 12 o'clock I'm out the door. Like these, lacrosse, whatever. Basketball the basketball is getting a little bit ridiculous now with these things. Foxy, the Roma, Mourinho got a red card, I saw. That final. Cremonense beat Roma 2-1. Wow. 83rd minute. Yeah, that's a good bet, Foxy. Roma's a mess.
Wow. Yeah.
Foxy said he's had enough domestic cups for one season.
I bet he has. So, no.
Foxy, I jibbed it at Wembley. My buddy gave me a paper. I don't know if you're here yesterday.
He wasn't here.
So. He gave me a paper copy of his ticket and said the security was lax in the purple zone. And all the things, the gates were like 3 of them weren't working. So I just showed him my ticket and went in. Like the guy was fumbling. I put it on the thing and it was like flashing, beep, beep, beep. I just walked in. They were just like, whatever.
Okay, cool.
So I got in to watch that. That was pretty cool. So I said I had to come home now because I completed it. I jibbed Wembley. So not going to get any better than that. But
that's one of those bucket list things.
Yeah, it's I'd like to be there for tomorrow, but it's
a heck of a drive.
Yeah. I
don't think the trains go there either. So It does make
because I could have went to, I could have stayed and went to Real Madrid, Barcelona Thursday in Madrid, but I just have too much stuff going on here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that you did get the sun of Barcelona. That was fun. And we get
and I can't, I can't complain too much about the weather in England. It was cold in Manchester for the Barcelona game Thursday. And it was a little chilly. It wasn't too bad though. But I couldn't complain about the weather at all. It was really actually pretty good over there. So, and then I come home and it was snowing last night. So, I can't really.
It was snowing in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, actually they have more snow in Los Angeles. But it is
he likes Juve derby game versus Torino at home. Fair play. Not surprised. Embarrassing security. Yeah, Foxy, I'll be honest. I mean, I know there was a lot of both sides. I mean, the people I was sitting next to, I was up in the club level, the second level. So the guy next to me was there with his kid. His kid was a Manchester United fan. He's a Liverpool fan. I'm like, why are you here? He's like, I got tickets. Okay. So but his kid was a fan, so that was cool, But there was a lot of, I felt like it was, both sides, a lot of it's just weird. There was just, it was I feel like it was a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that. I don't know if the Geordie guy was there, that Geordie, that big guy. But I just felt like it was just a weird crowd. I mean, look, there was a lot of Newcastle fans in London and Leicester Square where I was around there and everything. And I was talking, there's a lot. I feel like there was a lot of people there that were genuinely huge fans of the thing. But yeah, there was a lot of people there that just point scoring and stuff like that. I don't know. I wish they would start giving those tickets more to people that are fans of there was 217 Manchester United fans that opted into so if you opt into every game, if you went to every cup game this year, you were guaranteed a ticket. Well, 217 fans did not get a ticket to that because they didn't have enough of an allocation. And that's but they gave away, 10,000 corporate seats. So to me, that's a problem. So, Newcastle hadn't been in a cup since 99. So they were paying crazy money and the ticket scalping, the touts, man. Nile Ranger was broadcasting it or advertising it on his Twitter for £2,500. Yeah, Foxy. I mean, it's season ticket holders and stuff like that. That's a real, and there's a lot of people that with crazy money. There's a lot of people with crazy money that went in and paid for the tickets, and I have a problem with that. I can't, I snuck in, so whatever. But I would feel bad if I paid $2,500 and some Newcastle fan or Manchester United fan who hadn't been to Wembley in 20 years or something like that didn't get to go. But yeah, so. But
that's always the case where you see people who go because it's an event, as opposed to go because they actually want to see who's going to win.
I thought that was a little bit like that for the championship game for the Eagles, the Eagles championship game. I went to the game and I was just I didn't. They were like, no, we got you a ticket, and I was like, yeah, I'll go. I'm not an Eagles fan,
right?
I tried to get my dad to go or somebody to go, and then it's just not I mean, I had fun. But
well, I mean, we're in a position where there are times that people will be kind enough to say, hey, look, you want a ticket to, a major event. And you're like, you know what? I'll sit home and watch it on TV. Give it to somebody who really is going to enjoy it. Okay. Which is not to say, like you just said, that you wouldn't enjoy going, but you wouldn't enjoy, it wouldn't make your, it wouldn't be the highlight of your year or of your, in some cases, if you're there for a special thing, something you talk about for years down the line, right?
Yeah, no,
it's something where, to certain people who haven't had that opportunity, it's a big deal. And for me to feel like, okay, well, like, when I come back, did I enjoy it? Sure, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being with people, right? But did I enjoy being there for any specific thing? Is that something I'm going to talk about for years down the line? No. And so I agree with you. I mean, I would rather somebody go and enjoy it and be, have a tale to tell for years to come rather than me just going, having a good time, going home.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, people were telling me I was outside the ground, and they were like, listen, I was like, my buddy that gave me the paper ticket eventually, he's like, he had a friend who was selling tickets. He goes, listen, he's like, do you have one? I said, do you have one? He says, yeah, but listen, I don't, how much are you willing to spend? Because, if anyone offers you a ticket for less than £1,000, you have to take it. And I was like, I'm not paying £1,000 to go to, I'm just not going to do it. Like, there's just got to be another way. I mean, I ended up working out, but like £1,000, I mean, it's like,
it's at about $1,400.
Yeah, it's like, look, I mean, people are like struggling like crazy right now, like to pay like the gas bills. I mean, there's crazy stories about, I don't know, Foxy could probably tell you more about these gas bills in England. There was I saw something today about a pho place. They have to cook the pho for like 20 hours, so the stove's always on.
Right.
And their gas bill went from like £800 a month to like 2,000 to like 8,000.
That's crazy.
In 2 months. Like, that's, and they're just blaming the whatever. I mean, it's not, because these gas companies are making record profits, but it's just, I mean, it's crazy. Like, there's limits to what I would pay. I mean, to get to see a game. I mean, it's important to me, but the security of my family and being able to pay the bills is important. So
eating dinner for a couple of weeks would be good.
Yeah, no, and it's just like, there's probably some people that went down to that game and paid crazy money, and they're gonna be suffering a little bit for a while, and it's not really, it just sucks.
And the other part of the equation too, and we've mentioned this many times, that works the same way with wagering. Okay, we have said 100 times, don't wager if you can't afford to do it. It's, have a budget, do it right. Don't, a problem with gambling, get help. This is not, we talk about, gaming all the time, but we talk about it for responsibility, to be responsible. We don't want anybody to go out and bet the farm on something.
I've said this multiple times. People, because I'm on ESPN and,
sure.
and I know Bill.
You were on NBC last night.
Foxy's like a prodigy at this stuff, but like, sometimes Bill will ask and like the bet will lose, and I like feel like I'm like, man, I'm like, man, I just lost this guy money, like, and just feel bad about it. But like, I know there's people doing it that are, I feel like the people that are on here are pretty responsible, but like, I know there's people that are doing it, that I told you, like the guy I know, he was down, he put it all on credit cards. So he's down 25 grand, but it ended up being like 30 something because of the credit card. And you're just like, I don't understand. How do you do it? And it's just, I mean, it's
well, like anything else,
an addiction. Yeah, no,
it's all about moderation. And
people ask me all the time, like, hey man, you betting like 500? Nah, I bet like $20 on a game. Like I always say, if I won $50 a day over the course of a week and was up $350 for the week, I would be thrilled. I don't even really bet, to be honest, anymore, because I was over there. I bet a couple things. I hit a couple parlays over there. And for, I was probably up about 80 pounds maybe when, during my time. I didn't bet too much, but, I just sometimes I don't bet, sometimes I do, but I don't bet a lot. I I get really, really mad when I lose money. I just think of like, I could have bought bananas or like orange. I could have went to the store and like stocked the whatever, you know. And it's just kind of, that's just the way I think about stuff. So I just get mad if I lose. So I try not to.
I went one time. I don't know about you in horse racing, but I went one time to the track with the general manager of the track, and he said, "I'll show you how to bet horses." Okay, I'll be honest, I have no idea, and frankly, I find it boring, but that's just me. So I went there, and after I was about $150 down, I said, "Look, I can't afford you to show me how well to bet as we continue to lose here." I don't, like everything else, you have to be educated in the process. I wasn't educated in the process. And I guess because of my indifference about the horse racing, there was no way I was going to win unless it was total luck. And on that particular day, total luck wasn't visiting. But I mean, again, not that we get far afield or preachy here. It's always important to do everything in moderation, whether it's gambling or anything, eating, whatever. But yeah, like you said, you can stock the refrigerator, you can buy some bananas. At the price of bananas these days, you really probably need that extra cash. But no, it's called gaming. It's also called gambling. Gambling means that you can lose.
You're gambling. Yes, it's a gamble. I mean, yes, you could win, and they always say gamble. Don't just play with what you have to don't bet the rent money or don't.
Well, even the professional guys, right? And I'll get you there, Foxy. Whoops, there it is. Pennsylvania, UK is getting outrageous. People can't even put the heating.
It's bad, man. You're just talking to some of these people because I see people at games, but then there's a lot of people that can't really afford to go anymore. Like they just say, look, I can't spend 10 pounds on the train to get in, and you got to get food and you got to get thing. I mean, if you're going out in town, it's going to be 40, 50 pounds. Like people don't, people, and these aways and all this stuff. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like, that's just football. There's people that are just struggling to keep the heat on. I mean, it's crazy what's going on over there. It's not to get a lot of it's Brexit and all this stuff that's going on, but it's, who knows when it'll change,
if it will change.
Yeah, no, it could be maybe it's Blade Runner. Who knows?
I hope not. I hope it's not Blade Runner. We've been talking about. I was just about to say some of the people who I know who are professional gamblers. They will set aside a certain amount of money and they bet in what they call units. And a unit might be $5, it might be $10, it's whatever their budget is. And one of the things that I've always been impressed with and happy with is if that budget goes, it doesn't matter if it's the first of the month or the last of the month. They don't touch anything until the next month. They use that budget and they do it wisely. So, if you've got professionals who are doing it that way responsibly, then that that's the way it should be done. It's a profession. Anyway,
it's look, I never, I always see that stuff on Twitter. Sometimes someone will be like, "Oh, this is a 7-unit play" and stuff like that. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, oh, this is a 7-unit. I'm up 12 units for yesterday. What does that mean? Like, it's
all it means is your allotment of money for that day.
Yeah, it's all like, I don't know.
The terms. The reason they're using those terms, and I only bring it up because it was taught to me from the folks who were handicappers. it's a professional term. It's a unit. That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a bet. So if you bet $5 today, that was your unit. So in other words, that was your, if I'm up 5 units, that means,
$25.
they
Yeah.
had
I,
I
could make stuff up on Twitter as well. Like that's the thing that bothers me. Like
right.
Oh man, my premium plays were thing. Oh yeah, show me.
Well, we had a thing with Chris King when we used to do the parlay shows.
Yeah.
And we would have, somebody would say, I listened to you yesterday and I won something. Okay. Or I listened to you yesterday and I lost something. Okay. And we would say, all right, tell you what, or I didn't pay attention to you at all. And I hit a 5, parlay. And we say, tell you what, we'll give you, because Chris did for, premium picks. And Chris said, tell you what, you show us, on Twitter. I have to post it on Twitter. Post on Twitter. You can put, cover the money part about how much you won, but show me a winning ticket. And we'll give you a free, a free week of Chris's picks. Nobody ever showed us a ticket.
Nah,
we did 200 shows. I mean, like that.
Yeah, it's all just to like. I mean, when we did that How to Bet show, I mean, we were picking stuff on NFL, and every week we were on the record, and we were on fire. We were like 70% on the record. I do show on ESPN on the record, right there. I would say to don't bet if you're
at the same time.
All about mentality. If you lose and fuming, don't bet immediately after. Take a break, come back refreshed. Yeah, look, that's how I am. If I lose,
good idea, Fox.
I take a break. I know I'm very streaky.
Go to the movies.
Not even if that's a real thing or not. I just know when I'm like, I get these streaks and I can pick games. And I'm just like, this game is going to win. And everything I pick for 2 weeks is just, wins. And then I know when I'm not picking well, but, it just really, really bothers me because there's a lot of people that do that. And it's just like, man, it's like, Amadeus, this guy does, he studies, man. He does all these things. Like he does a lot. Chris King, these guys do a lot of work. They sell their picks, but they put a lot of effort in.
If you looked at, and I know Amadeus is the same way. If you look at the amount of information that Chris King goes through to make those, to set up his premium picks, or even the ones, frankly, to be honest, that we used to do on the show for free. He breaks it down, and he really gives you every possible. And even after that, all that's breaking down, right? This first thing out of Chris's mouth, which is like the first thing out of your mouth or anybody's mouth, is this is just my suggestion based on these criteria. And he'll go through it. Our friend Allie Burns, Allie Burns has her little that little board that she likes to work with the pen on, that little acetate board. And Allie will go through. Allie plays what is it? It's teasers. So Allie actually doesn't lose because she just her concept is to bet something on both sides so that you end up with a little bit of a win each time. And it doesn't make a lot of money, but it's a consistent way to make money. So she teaches, that aspect of it. But these people take hours, and you're absolutely right. It's not like they, it's like taking a master's class. These guys spend time, and they don't take it lightly, and they don't take whatever they're doing lightly. They don't. And to the other thing, to their credit, and you just brought this up about you and Joe, okay? It's not like when you and Joe come on, the first thing out of your mouth is, "Hey, we were 7 out of 9 last night." You're not like you're telling people how well you did. It's more along the lines of, "Here's what we got going today. We had a nice day. We had a good day yesterday." I've always been very hesitant to listen to or watch people who the first thing out of their mouth is, "I was 10 out of 10 last night in my winners." I'm like, really? 10 out of 10? That's pretty good. What were you the day before or the day after? And were you even 10 for 10 last night? I have no way of knowing because you don't tell me. And I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to the euphemistic.
Yep.
Anyway, so we've aired our grievances on that. And any score updates or anything you want to talk about the games in progress?
Yeah, that Evan Ferguson scored. Kid's a monster. Scored for Brighton. 18 years old. The kid's going to be going right to the top. Juventus is losing. Torino's up 1-0. 10 minutes in. Foxy. I don't know if you saw that. So tomorrow's the big day, though.
That's the day. What are we looking for tomorrow?
You got Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool, Wolves, Manchester United, West Ham, Sheffield United, Tottenham, and then the Copa del Rey semifinals start Osasuna and Atletico Bilbao. And then the Coupe de France, some weird matchups, Toulouse and Rodez, Nantes, Lens, Marseille, and Nancy. So
there you go. Okay, quick question before we leave. When you were in Manchester, was anybody at all geeked about Manchester City? Or are they kind of like an oversight?
Nobody cares about the city, to be honest. I mean, I don't mean to be that jerk about it, but there's some Manchester City fans, but I mean, nobody cares. They play DJs at the stadium and stuff like that. It's I don't know. They don't have real fans.
They're not headed.
They have real fans. They have some real hardcore fans, but a lot of them are a lot of plastics.
So they jump on the bandwagon when they're good, and then when they're gone, they go away.
We got a real big hardcore following. There's a real small hardcore following that have been there for a long time when they're really bad. But most of them are new fans.
Well, there you go. All right, well, you go get some stuff to clear your throat and get yourself better.
Definitely.
We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same station. And the good news is we will hopefully have Sean. You'll feel better, and we'll have something to talk about, which includes Manchester United.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. See you till tomorrow. I'm Jim. He's Sean. Take care.